Hello again, BeachBum traders. Hope you had a great trading week. Let's start putting together our weekly trading game plan for the week of August 9th through August 13th. So let's start by briefly recapping the state of the market as of Friday, August 8th. I'm in finviz.com and you'll find a link to Finviz in the description below. So we could see that the Dow and the S&P were up a little bit, near or hit new all-time highs. The Nasdaq was down a little bit. Generally the markets were green. We could see in the heat map, again the Nasdaq was down, and a lot of the big tech growth plays were a little bit down. You see some of the top gainers and losers. We can see Westport had good earnings, popped up. Okay, and we can see in the top losers list, AU, which is a gold miner. Gold and silver both dumped heavily on Friday, irrationally so. And so one of the positions we put on Friday was GLDI, which is a covered call Credit Suisse ETF or ETN, to catch that bounce in gold. We also have one on SLVO, which is the similar covered call ETF on silver, and they both pay a very nice monthly dividend, and the ex-dividend date is August 19th. So if you're interested in a nice dividend and possibly a bounce in gold and silver, you can check out GLDI and SLVO. So if we also look at double bottoms, multiple bottoms, I don't see anything terribly interesting there. We can see some of the news. There is some concern over the Delta variant increase, and that was attributed in some respect to the decrease in the Nasdaq. We can see gold was also down several percent. We'll look at that more detail in a second. And the treasuries were up, so our position, we have a position in TLVO, and that was on the rebound on Friday nicely. So I take that back as TMV is the long on treasuries. Now if we quickly take a look at the futures tab on finviz.com, we can see the Dow, S&P, and Nasdaq all reached and peaked out at a near high, and because of that, on Thursday, we put long positions on a bear leveraged ETF for both the S&P and Nasdaq. The S&P long leveraged ETF, bear ETF, is SPXU. For the Nasdaq, it's SQQQ. And then on Friday, as the Dow had peaked, we put a long position on the bear ETF on the Dow, which is SDOW. We'll do a more detailed video on how you can use these bear and bull leveraged ETFs to essentially not have to be afraid of a market crash, because if the market goes down, your short ETF goes up proportionally, and so again, if the market goes down 20%, you make 20%, or if you're in the bull ETF and the market's down and it goes up 20%, you make 20%. So again, you can play the market in any direction. You don't have to be worried about it crashing, going down. You can make money either way, even in a retirement account, and that's the point, is because these are all long ETF positions, you can make money even in a retirement account, no matter which direction the market goes. And again, we'll talk about this in more detail and how to do that in detail in the future. See the Russell still kind of in no man's land. We're not long or short on the Russell. However, we can see the VIX is coming down. VIX tends to mean revert. It's coming down right now. It's currently in the 16 range. We're going to be watching that very closely, particularly on Monday. Monday tends to be volatile. If the VIX bottoms sometime next week, we will put a long position on the leveraged ETF for the VIX to go back up, which is UVXY. The upward direction ETF for the VIX is UVXY. The downward or short position on the VIX is SVXY. So if you expect the VIX to go up, go long UVXY. When it peaks, you can short it with SVXY. And that's our strategy on volatility or the VIX. See, oil also took a major dump. Again, we're going to be watching some oil ETFs. When oil bottoms, we'll probably go long oil. When it peaks, we'll go short oil. We see oil or gold and silver, as I mentioned, really took a dump. On Friday, it seems to be irrational. Don't know really why that was the case, but we're playing the bounces on gold and silver because, again, there's still fears of inflation fears out there. And people tend to use gold and silver as a hedge against inflation. So we're betting that gold and silver are going to go back up. So treasuries, again, the treasuries finally seem to have peaked and gone down. So again, our position in TMB, which is a long position on the yields going up, prices coming down on the treasuries. So as the treasuries come down, we'll be making money using TMB until those bottom, and then we'll obviously sell out of that position. So that's the futures from pinbiz.com. Again, there's a link in the description to Finbiz, and then next we'll look at some of the sectors and talk about sector rotation very briefly. Now let's briefly look at sector performance, and let's talk about sector rotation and what that may mean. So another great resource on the pinbiz.com site is the Groups tab, which will show the performance of the relative sectors for the day, the week, the month, etc. So we can see on Friday, financials, energies were the top performers, healthcare, consumer cyclical were the poorest performers, but over the week, financial utilities were top performers, technology in third, and basic materials was the worst performer. So we can see the worst performer for the week was one of the best performers on Friday. Another very useful site for seeing sector performance and potential sector rotation is the Spider Sector Tracking website, for which I will add a link in the description below. We can see the performance of the S&P sectors on Friday. So again, we can see financials, materials were top performers, consumer discretionary was the poorest performer. One of the theories that I have been wanting to investigate further is sector rotation. One of the things we see is the market continues at kind of all-time highs, but various sectors are under or overperforming from day to day. So another resource that I use to look for sector rotations is an email newsletter I get on a daily basis called The Daily Bowtie from Joseph Hogue, and I will do a detailed video on how you can get Joseph Hogue's Daily Bowtie email in the future. But we can see that on Wednesday, energy, for example, energy was one of the poorest performers, and then on Thursday, energy was one of the top performers. And then again on Friday, we go back to their spider tracker. we can see that energy was it was in the middle, right? So one of the theories, again, hypothesis I'd like to test in the future is the poorest performance of one day, the top performance the next day. Are we just seeing a sector rotation, and can we take advantage of that? Could you play the worst performer? Could you go along the worst performers from yesterday, today, and vice versa? Do you expect the top performer from today to be one of the worst performers for tomorrow? So can you play that sector rotation, particularly when we're at the top of the market, and it's a slow summertime doldrum type period? So if anyone has any experience or further insight in, is that true? Is the worst performing sector of one day one of the better performers the next day? And is that a viable strategy? Please put your experience in the comments. That's great. Again, it's something I'd like to test, possibly in paper trading in Webull going forward, to see if that's a strategy that would work in this scenario. So again, I'll put a link to the Sector Spider website in the description, and I hope all these resources help. Now let's briefly take a look at the latest daily trade information email from ARK Invest. You can find a link to a video where we explain how you can subscribe to receive these daily emails from ARK Invest in the description box below. And again, that video will tell you how to receive these emails of ARK Invest, Cathie Wood's daily buys and sells every day. So if we briefly take a look at this, we can see they're now again buying Roku, which is interesting. They had bought Roku pretty steadily in the past, and then they sold off their stake, and now they're buying Roku again after its recent dip. We can see they're continuing to buy UiPath in multiple funds, both the Innovation Fund and the Internet Fund. We can see they're selling Square. This is, I believe, is a new 3D printer stock, so they're starting to acquire 3D printer. This is an online betting stock, relatively new, Genie, and they're selling Trade Desk. So I don't see anything particularly interesting in this daily trade information, so we will go on and look at some individual stocks in a watch list that we're looking to buy next week in Webull. Okay, here we are in Webull, and I already have my watch list set up for this week. We will create a future video that shows you how to set up a watch list in Webull and how to use the various indicators and settings, etc. For now, again, my watch list is already set up for this week, and we'll just quickly go through those stocks, some of the trends behind them, some of the themes that they're related to, and why we're looking to buy them this week. To get a copy of Webull for yourself, there's a link in the description box below, and you can get 2 free stocks by just signing up and depositing a minimum amount in Webull. I really like this platform. It has both a desktop version and a browser version. Here we're using the browser version. Really easy to use, and we hope you'll like it too. So you can see on the left I have my watch list already set up, and I have the first stock in that watch list selected, which is AQMS. AQMS is a lead recycling company, and therefore it is related to EV batteries because they are recycling the lead, which is one of the main inputs into EV batteries. So they fit nicely into the EV battery theme. And we can see it's kind of riding close to various support levels. These are support and resistance levels that Webull automatically puts in. So we're looking at it somewhere, when it reaches a support, starts to break out above VWAP, we're looking to buy AQMS. ESP is an industrial electronic equipment company. Again, this is a very low float, so it kind of jumps around a bit, but we're looking to buy that at a support level. Uh, Ideally, the bottom would be about 1449, but if it hits support, starts to turn up, we're looking to buy ESP. Seems to fit into the Biden's infrastructure plan theme. Um, I believe that they're profitable, and so we think that that's a good potential buy for next week. FTech is a clean energy pollution treatment company, again fitting into Biden's clean energy, anti-climate change theme. It's riding kind of near some support levels, so again we're looking, if that turns up, that's a potential buy for next week. IEC is a technology company. I believe it's a semiconductor company, electronics. Again, relatively low float. We're looking at a bottom around 10, but again, if it approaches a support level, turns up, breaks VWAP, we're looking at IEC. NGD is a gold miner. Not looking at a lot of gold miners. We have large positions in gold and the gold covered call ETN, but this is one that's coming down to a support level, and we've traded this in the past. It tends to swing nicely, so you can see it's sitting close to the support level, and if it turns up, NGD might be a good buy for next week. Quick, QUIK, is a semiconductor company, again one we've traded in the past. As you know, there's a semiconductor shortage, so any opportunity to get a good semiconductor company might be a good trading opportunity. And this one, it has various support levels around the $5 level, so again, if it turns up around this support level, we're looking to buy them as a semiconductor play. RKDA is an agricultural chemical company, but it's also related to cannabis. And as the cannabis theme waxes and wanes, there's an opportunity for RKDA to pop, hopefully. So again, we're looking for it to approach a support, turn up, based on like the cannabis and agricultural theme. TomZ is really, it's a COVID play. They do sterilization. They have a robot, which is very interesting, that does sterilization for hospitals, schools, etc. It was popular, when COVID was a hot topic. It's kind of waned away as people lost interest in COVID. We think possibly with the Delta breakouts and the focus on schools, the overcrowding of hospitals, this may be an opportunity, and it's actually really dropped off even below its 52-week low recently. So that may be a good opportunity once it turns and starts moving up again. VJet is a 3D printer. Recently, 3D printers got hot again. We own Stratasys, which is SSYS. They recently reported a beat on earnings, and it turned back up. We also own Materialize, MTLS, and Nano Dimension, and NDM. A couple other 3D printers in this theme is DDD. We've owned them in the past. I believe that's already made a move upward. SGLB, I would buy somewhere around 3 if it reaches support and turns up. It's a little bit above that right now, so I'm not directly watching that right now. But VJet, somewhere in the support level. You can see it hopped up late Friday, but somewhere in the support level, if it makes a turn, we'll probably scoop up some VJet. Boozy is an augmented reality, virtual reality play. Kathy Woods Arcs has been buying Boozy in the past. We're looking for a support level around this 1326 area. Again, If it approaches 1326 or just turns up, we'll be looking to buy some boozy. There's a couple other AR/VR plays you can look at. One is Imagine, EMAN, and Copen, KOPN. I believe they're both higher right now, so I think boozy is probably the cheaper of the plays at this point. BBPR is a solar play. Again, a couple days ago, solar got hot again. I looked at a variety of solar plays. This looked like one that was approaching a support level and hadn't made a run yet. So BBPR is a potential solar play. Again, during the week, these themes can get hot and cool off, or even the individual stocks may reach a support level and start to turn. So that's why I put them on a watch list. We're actively watching them during the week. Whenever they reach that support and make that turn, then that's when we would make a buying decision. So I hope this all helps. Again, this is a watch list set up in Webull. You can see some more detailed information about each stock. This is on the stocks tab. I have selected, built my watch list in. And again, we'll have a more detailed video about how to do all of this in the future. But for now, if you want to get your copy of Webull, start playing around and using it for your trading, there's a link in the description box. And again, you get 2 free stocks by signing up today for Webull. Well, that's our game plan for this week, for the week of August 8th through the 13th. I hope you find this information and these tools useful, not just for this week, but going forward. And we wish you good luck and a great trading week. And we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you. Bye. Oh, and we hope that you'll choose to subscribe to our BeachBum Trading channel and click the notify button so you get notified of all of our future videos. Thank you again. Have a great trading week. Bye.